Loyola-Chicago vs. Michigan. Ramblers almost pull another miracle before Wagner carries Wolverines to victory. San Antonio. Once Loyola-Chicago finished re-establishing on Saturday that its search to the Final Four had happened because of polished, airtight merit, Michigan finished chasing down Loyola-Chicago. When the height and might of the Wolverines finally found its way to outflank the Ramblers, the NCAA tournament bracket that kept Loyola-Chicago snugly in its midst for 3 giddy weeks finally went ahead and let it go. It became Michigan, the number 3 seed that brought to the Alamo Dome its 13-game winning streak, which finally would see off the Ramblers team, its oft gorgeous offense and its rock star 98-year-old champion, Sister Jean Schmidt. The Wolverines saved their search for the closing 8 minutes, gaining a 69-57 win in their program's 9th Final Four and their second under-11 season coach John Bailey in. They earned date for the closing Monday night opposite Villanova, as the Ramblers aimed to become the first number 11 seed to reach the national title game, and as they looked like that number 11 seeding had been some sort of mirage, Michigan tried to whack away at a 32-22 deficit that struck it early in the second half. That moment, it seemed like it might keep whacking fruitlessly as its shot persistently banked off the rim. Finally, with the deficit at 47-42 with 7:44 left, the dam broke, when the 6'11", multifaceted German import Moritz Wagner took the ball reasonably close to the basket with 7 minutes left, then backed up into three-point range on the right, then dreamed a shot that tied the score at last at 47-47. He had just made the season's 19th field goal in 51 tries. The scoring would ease from there, while the defense on Loyola's blissfully structured offense would do hard business. While it plucked turnovers repeatedly through the key stretch, it ensured that Loyola-Chicago's textbook passing kept amounting to nothing. Jordan Poole, whose audacious closing shot in the second round against Houston kept Michigan in the tournament, found himself open low on the right. That staunched to free throws and a 49-47 lead. Things started rolling. Wagner, who must have decided he'd need an assist to accompany his 24 points and 15 rebounds, would ship a beaut of a pass low to Charles Matthews for a reverse layup. Poole would miss a three-point shot from the left corner, but, with 4:59 left, Wagner would direct it back downward into the basket, drawing a foul. When he hit, it was 54-47, and it was all different. Openings kept coming. Wagner barged in from the right to take Xavier Simpson's pass for a layup. Wagner, whose low-post battles with very big boy Cameron Krutwig helped define the game, reined in a three-pointer from the top for a 59-51 lead with 2:59 left, and as Mohamed Ali Abdur-Rahman made a drive built on superior talent to score with 2:13 left, the last of Loyola-Chicago's month of fetching resistance seemed to fade. March had ended, while it was still going, and the Ramblers had an unplanned meeting when Coach Porter Moser had to take a timeout just past 7 minutes into the game. They had trailed 12-4. They had made shooting in a dome look like shooting in the dome. They had made 2 shots out of 10, had seen 3 layups in traffic roll off the rim and had 6 rebounds to Michigan's gathering collection of 12. Already, Wagner had done twice what would become Michigan's best, yet makeshift, offensive method of the first half, taking a missed shot and putting it back in. From there to halftime, the game made itself a hairpin turn, Loyola-Chicago playing the last duration of the first half while crafting a 25-10 scoring advantage in that last 12:38. Loyola-Chicago would make 8 of its final 14 first-half shots. Michigan would make clanks from the clunky to the clunkier, winding up 9 for 31, or 29%. It made 2 of 13 three-point attempts. The Ramblers, meanwhile, tried only 3 such shots, so that it mattered little that they made none. They got an Andrew Jackson drive that earned him 2 free throws, then one of their trademark pretty bounce passes, from Clayton Custer to Jackson for an uncontested layup, then a swish on the run from the left of the key from Marks Towns. They were back in it, back demonstrating how their number 11 seeding had been a mirage. Krutwig kept fielding the ball down low to tussle with Wagner, and Krutwig came out of it with a rattle-in layup on a pass from Custer, a delicious left hook from the lane and some free throws. Clearly under the impression it belonged squarely alongside the Big Ten tournament champion with a 13-game winning streak and humongous name. Pretty soon, when Krutwig had opened the second half muscling in a shot through the Wagner foul, then let out some kind of guttural scream, Loyola-Chicago led by 10, looking like it might have a big name itself. Maybe it did already. Chuck Culpepper. Michigan's Mo Wagner killed Loyola-Chicago's magical run to the Final Four on Saturday night, scoring 24 points and grabbing 15 rebounds as the Wolverines ran away from the Ramblers with a 69-57 win. Wagner was monstrous down the stretch, keying a 17-2 run that helped the Wolverines erase a 9-point deficit and reach the national championship for the first time since 2013. Wagner's dagger came with the Ramblers trailing by just 5 with just over 3 minutes remaining. When he did this, Wagner didn't stop running for loose balls even with his team up by 8 in the final minutes, when he nearly took out CBS broadcasters Bill Raftery and Grant Hill, and shared the moment with both after. Loyola-Chicago's Sister Jean was wheeled out of the arena shortly after. Michigan will go for the title against the winner of Villanova, Kansas on Monday night. Loyola-Chicago looked as though it was struggling to shed the nerves of making its first Final Four appearance on Saturday night in San Antonio. It started just 2 for 10 against Michigan, watching shot after shot miss and Wolverine after Wolverine blow by to the rim at the other end. Michigan led by 8 early and looked comfortable after a 9-0 run. Yet even after arguably their worst first-half performance of the postseason, the Ramblers lead 29-22 at halftime. How? Improved shooting center Cameron Krutwig and guard Marks Towns each have 8 points, a lift from reserve Andrew Jackson 8 points off the bench, and a sloppy offensive performance so far from Michigan, which has 11 points and 11 rebounds from forward Mo Wagner, but is nonetheless shooting 9 for 31, 29% from the field. Loyola-Chicago also got a bit of luck, including on this off-balance jumper by Towns with the shot clock winding down, which led the guard to do a Michael Jordan-esque shrug. Loyola has certainly been in this position before, aside from overcoming a 7-point lead early in the second half of its first-round win over Miami. The Ramblers also overcame an early 9-point deficit in the second round against Tennessee and a 12-point deficit within the first 7 minutes in the Sweet 16 against Nevada. Roman Stubbs San Antonio, in the back corner of the Michigan locker room Thursday, the 6'6" Michigan guard Charles Matthews sat and heard a wavelet of questions about a leading topic of the 2018 Final Four. To the sport, it's a subject gathering steam, that of transfers, their frequency and what should be their rights within the game. To Matthews, it's an ancient matter. Repeatedly, he begged off discussing how in 2015-16, he played for Kentucky, playing 370 minutes in 36 games, averaging 1.7 points and 1.6 rebounds. It had been so long ago, he said. He wasn't interested in the rehash. 3 of the 10 starters in the opening semifinal between Loyola-Chicago and Michigan on Saturday could tell the winding rehash if interested. They're transfers, and they're crucial to the matchup. Matthews, once ranked number 11 by Rivals.com among recruits in 2015, and 3rd among shooting guards, has played by far his best season and has led Michigan in scoring in this tournament. His stat line for last season showed all zeros, much as the stat line did for Loyola-Chicago guard Marks Towns and in 2015-16 for Loyola-Chicago guard Clayton Custer. By the time Michigan had withstood Florida State in the West Region Final in Los Angeles, Matthews had made his curvy trip from a potential one-and-done college player to Final Four-bound team scoring leader. He had gone for 20, 11, 18 and 17 points in Michigan's four NCAA tournament games, on strong shooting of 7 for 13, 5 for 12, 8 for 11 and 6 for 14, the last in a game when hardly anyone made a shot. It was special, Matthews said. Last year all I used to hear in practice was, turnover, Matthews, turnover, Matthews, and, go see 212, that's when I have to run up to the top of the bleachers. But I stayed with it. Coach stayed on me. He continued to believe in me, and that continued to help my confidence grow. My teammates believe in me, and I believe in them. So it's just been a special feeling. For Custer, Loyola-Chicago's team leader, the trail went from Overland Park, gone, to Iowa State, for a season with 12 game appearances, 0 starts and 15 field goal attempts, 3 of them good. At Loyola-Chicago, this Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year joined high school teammate Ben Richardson, who helped lure him once he decided to depart Iowa State. For Towns, Custer's fellow guard, it had gone from Edison, then Jay, through Farla Dickinson and Jay, where Towns played 2 seasons and averaged 10 points after being on a high school team with Karl Anthony Towns, now of the Minnesota Timberwolves, and Wade Baldwin, now of the Portland Trail Blazers. A lot of times young people, in recruiting, they want, whether it's a transfer or a high school kid, they want to make a splash on signing day, or announcement day, Loyola-Chicago coach Porter Moser said. Hey, I'm going to this conference, this school, and they think that validates them being a player with all the peripheral people. We always sell, go to a place, go to Loyola and make a splash on game day. You could have 125, 130 splashes. Series history, the schools have played 3 times before, but not since 1969, when Loyola won 1-1 at Chicago Stadium. Michigan won the 2 previous meetings. Fast facts: Loyola's 14-game winning streak is the longest of the Final Four teams. The Ramblers are making their first Final Four appearance since 1963. This is the 100th season of Loyola men's basketball. Through last weekend, Loyola ranked 5th in the country in scoring defense and 2nd in fewest personal fouls per game. 5 Loyola players are averaging double-digit points, something the Ramblers haven't done since 1963. Michigan is in the Final Four for the first time since 2013. Michigan is 6-1 in national semifinal games, the best record of any school that's played in at least 5. Michigan coach John Bailey would hit 800 career victories if his team wins the national title. Charles Matthews leads Michigan in both points, 16.5 ppg, and rebounds, 7.3 during the NCAA tournament. They lost to Loyola-Chicago when no one was watching. They're inspired to see where it led. How Loyola got here: the Ramblers knocked off number 6 seed Miami in a first-round thriller, 64-62. Inching ahead when Don Ingram connected on a long 3-pointer as time was running out. It was their first NCAA tournament game and win since a 1985 trip that ended against Patrick Ewing and Georgetown in the Sweet 16. And it made Sister Jean into a national sensation. More late-game dramatics against number 3 Tennessee. Clayton Custer hit a go-ahead basket with less than 4 seconds left in a 63-62 win. That victory gave the Ramblers their 30th win, breaking the school record set by the 1963 NCAA championship team. And it put the focus on the Chicago school's hardball charm. Another game, another big shot. Marks Towns hit a back-breaking 3-pointer with less than 7 seconds left to help clinch a 69-68 win over number 7 seed Nevada. That made it 3 tournament wins by a total of 4 points. For the first time in the tournament, Loyola was able to relax in the final moments, coasting to a 78-62 win over number 9 seed Kansas State. The Ramblers became just the 11th seed to advance to the Final Four, and as George Mason showed, the world of opportunity now awaits. How Michigan got here: John Bailey recruited Moritz Wagner to Michigan over a big German dinner and a beer. The Wolverines trailed number 14 seed Montana 10-0 before surging ahead for a 61-47 win. Their second-round game offered one of the tournament's most dramatic endings, when freshman Jordan Poole bombed in a long 3-pointer as time expired to clinch a 64-63 win over number 6 seed Houston. That seemed to ignite the Wolverines, who dominated 7th-seeded Texas A&M in a 99-72 effort. That makes 3 Elite 8 appearances in 6 years for Michigan. The Wolverines set an NCAA tournament record with 8 players making at least one 3-pointer in that game. Included in that group was freshman walk-on C.J. Baird, who had more fun than anyone in the win. Michigan is on the fashion vanguard, too, with some of the shortest shorts in this. Even Michigan outlasted number 9 seed Florida State, 58-54, to reach its A Final Four. Despite some recent offensive struggles, German forward Moritz Wagner is a big reason the Wolverines played on.